My name is Claire Whitman and I'm 28. Tonight, at my parents' 40th wedding anniversary, my mother looks me in the eyes, her lips tight, cold, and says something I've never thought I'd hear from the person who gave me life. I wish you were never born. The room freezes. Glasses hover midair. Forks stop halfway to smiling mouths. The band keeps playing the same upbeat jazz, oblivious, cruelly out of sync with the weight of those words. My chest tightens so sharply it feels like it might collapse. I don't cry. I don't beg. I don't even flinch. I push my chair back slowly, the scraping sound slicing through the stunned silence. Every eye is on me. I smooth the front of my navy dress with hands that are steadier than I feel, and I stand. For the first time in my life, I stand taller than anyone else in this family. She said she wished I was never born. I look back at her and smile, small, precise, deliberate. Then I'll disappear, I say. Her face drains of color. But I'm not done. I lean just enough for the microphone on the table to catch my voice. Just enough for every guest, every colleague, every neighbor to hear. You want to know what it looks like when the disappointment finally listens? I say, calm, razor sharp. Watch closely. Tonight, you're going to remember me for the rest of your lives. Gasps ripple across the room. Someone whispers my name. A chair scrapes. My father mutters under his breath. I don't look at him. I turn and walk away from the table. Away from the spotlight they never let me share. My heels click steadily across the marble floor. Behind me, voices rise, confused and frantic. But I don't stop. My phone is in my hand, thumb hovering over a scheduled post, a string of carefully drafted emails, and a video I've spent weeks editing. I step outside into the crisp night air, press confirm, and slip my phone back into my clutch. Then I walk. 30 minutes from now, the party will collapse. Every smile, every staged toast, every carefully curated moment will shatter. If you think a mother saying, "I wish you were never born," is the worst thing that will happen tonight, you're about to see how long-planned patience and quiet observation can turn perfection into a public nightmare. And how the family who thinks they control the narrative are about to become the story itself. Earlier that evening, I had been pretending to adjust the tiered cake at the center of the room, while secretly watching my parents pose for photos like magazine perfect stars. The cafe was buzzing. Relatives, neighbors, business partners, everyone laughing under the warm string lights. The decorations, the flowers, the slideshow screen all screamed perfection. I knew better. I had built the stage they were about to fall from. My brother Ethan held court near the bar, retelling stories of surgeries no one else could pull off. Guests hung on every word, admiration shining in their eyes. My sister Sophia floated among clusters of guests, answering questions about law school and internships. Every laugh she gave drew everyone closer, like moths to light. And me? I was invisible. I used to tell myself it was harmless favoritism. Then 3 weeks ago everything changed. I was dropping off sample designs for the party invitations when I saw a folder left carelessly on the dining table. My own name, CW College Fund, stared at me from the top page. My stomach twisted. The fund was empty. Every cent had been siphoned away to cover Ethan's loans and Sophia's luxuries. Years ago, my mother had written on one of the statements, "She'll never make money with art anyway. Better to invest in real futures." Something inside me snapped. I started noticing everything. The way my parents introduced us as their success stories, while I was always just the artsy kid. The way my mother rolled her eyes when I mentioned galleries, the way my father changed the topic whenever I spoke. The way they spoke about me when they thought I wasn't listening. So I recorded them. Voice memos in the hallway, the kitchen, behind closed doors. My mother sighing. "If we hadn't had her, we could have retired by now." My father muttering. "At least the other two turned out right." Ethan joking about my little hobby. Sophia calling me the practice child. All of it went into a folder on my laptop I named Truth. I combined their voices with screenshots of bank statements, highlighting every stolen penny, layering in my artwork, the pieces they had dismissed as a waste of time. Jess, the barista at the cafe, was the only person who knew even a fraction of what I was planning. One night after closing, I showed her the rough cut. Her eyes went wide. "You're serious?" she whispered. I nodded. "They've been calling me invisible my whole life. I want them to see me." We worked out the logistics together. The cafe had a projector, a sound system, and the perfect window of time to play the video, right after the speeches when emotions were high. I had backups on the laptop, in my clutch, and in the cloud. 30 minutes after I left, the world would see it no matter what. I moved around the room with trays of champagne, smiling just enough to seem invisible. Tonight I wasn't just helping with the party, I was preparing the stage. The stage was set, and soon the curtain would fall on them, not me. Dinner passed in a blur of polite chatter and clinking silverware. My parents basked in the attention, oblivious to the storm about to hit. Ethan gave a toast about family, sacrifice, and success. Sophia followed with her rehearsed story, highlighting every moment they had supported her. Guests clapped, some dabbed at their eyes. And me? I stayed calm, quiet, a shadow in plain sight. My mother, Cassandra, floated back to our table, cheeks flushed with wine and praise. She leaned in close, voice dripping venom only I could hear. Sometimes I truly wish you were never born. The words landed like a hammer. The microphone, perfectly positioned, captured every syllable. Time froze. Glasses hovered midair. A fork slipped from a hand. I felt the collective gasp of the room, but I didn't flinch. I pushed back my chair slowly, letting the sound echo through the silence. I stood tall and steady. Then I'll disappear, I said, letting it hang in the air, heavy and undeniable. My voice was calm, razor sharp. My mother's face drained of color. Ethan shifted uncomfortably, caught off guard. Sophia froze mid-smile. No, Mia, sit down. Cassandra hissed, voice trembling, a mixture of anger and fear. You're making a scene. A scene. I laughed once, humorless. No, Mom. A scene is when people don't know the truth. Tonight, everyone will see it. I turned to the stunned room. You all came here to celebrate their perfect love story, I said, voice strong. Do yourselves a favor and stay for the sequel. Then I walked away, leaving them frozen, leaving the spotlight they never let me step into. As I passed the sound booth, Jess caught my eye. Her hand hovered near the control panel, ready to unleash the video that would expose every lie, every betrayal. I nodded. She nodded back. Outside, the night air hit like a shockwave. I pulled out my phone. The scheduled social media post was ready, the email drafts queued. In 30 minutes, the world would see everything. The empty college fund, the whispered insults, the favoritism, the betrayal. I leaned against the cool brick wall beside the cafe, heart steady but adrenaline surging. 12 minutes until the post went live. 18 until the world would know what my family had hidden for decades. Jess sent a text. They're settling down. Ready. I typed back. Press play when they call for the slideshow. Don't stop it, no matter what. Another text from Cassandra. Come back now. We'll talk later. I let it disappear. Not this time. Not me. They were the ones about to be dragged forward. Into the truth. The stage was set. The curtain about to rise. And for the first time I wasn't invisible. The room went silent the moment her words hit. Mom's face had gone pale, her hand gripping the microphone as if it were a lifeline. Every eye in the cafe was on me, the quiet daughter, the one who had never mattered. I stood, heart pounding, yet every motion measured. Then I turned and walked toward the exit, calm and deliberate. Behind me, murmurs rose, someone calling my name, but I didn't look back. Outside, the cool night air hit me, sharp and liberating. My phone buzzed in my hand, just confirming everything was ready. The social media posts queued, the email drafts waiting, and the backup files secured. 30 minutes and the truth would go public. I leaned against the brick wall, pretending to catch my breath, but inside I felt electric anticipation. This wasn't just revenge, it was revelation. Back inside, Jess had the projector ready. The slideshow began like any other tribute. Soft piano, smiling faces, the facade of a perfect family. I watched from the doorway, invisible, as the first few minutes lulled everyone into comfort. Then the screen cut to black. Silence fell like a weight, broken only by the sharp, unmistakable tone of my mother's voice. Art is not a real career. She'll never make money with it anyway. I could hear gasps, murmurs, the shuffle of feet. The black screen shifted to my carefully edited visuals. The bank statements, the empty college fund, highlighted transfers to Ryan's loans and Emily's expenses. My father's voice played over the images. At least the other two turned out right. She'll never notice. Every insult, every dismissive comment, every cruel whisper I had secretly recorded came alive on screen. Paired with my art, portraits distorted with the emotions they had tried to erase from me. My sketches, once ignored, became weapons of truth. The irony wasn't lost. The child they had tried to make invisible had made them hypervisible to everyone in the room. Guests murmured in shock. Some whispered to each other, some raised their phones. My mother tried to intervene to claim the video was fake, but the next clips were undeniable. Her own words captured and played for everyone to hear. "Sometimes I truly wish you were never born." The words echoed, a chilling soundtrack to the visual record of every slight I had endured. I felt a quiet satisfaction as I watched the chaos unfold. Jess stood by the control panel, calm and ready. People were confronting my parents, questioning them, pointing phones at the evidence I had assembled. The perfect family facade crumbled in real time. I didn't gloat, I just observed. 30 minutes later, the social media post went live. Comments, shares, messages flooded in. The story spread faster than anyone could contain. My parents' world was tilting, just as I had planned. I took a deep breath, feeling the culmination of years of neglect, favoritism, and silence. For the first time, it was no longer just my pain. It was public, undeniable, and impossible to ignore. And in that moment, I knew the night was mine. The revelation wasn't just for them. It was for every invisible child who had ever been ignored. The world was watching, and finally I was seen. The chaos inside the cafe had barely begun to settle when I stepped back into the night air. The sound of voices, the clatter of glasses, the hurried footsteps behind me. It all faded into a low hum. I didn't need to check my phone. I already knew. The video had gone viral. Their perfect anniversary, their curated image of family bliss, had collapsed in front of everyone they had wanted to impress. Messages flooded my inbox immediately. Support, outrage, sympathy, and astonishment mixed together like an unstoppable tide. People I didn't even know reached out, sharing their own stories of neglect, favoritism, and invisible childhoods. Some offered condolences, others offered opportunities. For the first time in years, I felt seen, not just noticed but truly seen. Back inside, my parents were scrambling. My mother's face was red with humiliation. My father was muttering apologies that didn't exist. Ryan and Emily were speechless, their own carefully crafted lives suddenly under scrutiny. Calls, emails, and messages bombarded them from every direction. The cafe guests, colleagues, even local news outlets. Their world, built on appearances, was unraveling faster than they could comprehend. I didn't answer their calls that night. I didn't argue. I didn't explain. Silence was my ally and the public my witness. For the first time, I allowed myself a moment to breathe, to feel the weight of every year I had been invisible, and to realize that I had finally reclaimed my narrative. Weeks later, opportunities began to appear. A gallery owner, impressed by the emotional intensity of my work, reached out. The story of my family, the betrayal, the revelation, all of it became part of my art. My pieces, once hidden in sketchbooks and closets, were now displayed on pristine white walls. Each painting told a story of conditional love, of neglect turned into courage, and of a child finally taking control. The opening night of the exhibit was surreal. The room buzzed with excitement, curiosity, and admiration. People recognized me from the viral video, but it didn't matter. They came for the art, for the honesty, for the truth I had turned into beauty. One piece in particular drew a crowd. A large canvas divided in two, one side showing my parents smiling at the anniversary party, the other their faces cracked like broken glass, every shard reflecting a different version of me. Child me, teen me, the night of the reveal. The title? We Wish You Were Never Born. The success was not just professional, it was personal. I had turned years of invisibility into visibility, neglect into recognition, and pain into power. Messages kept coming. People thanking me for speaking the truth they never could. I realized that by confronting my past, I had given voice to countless others. And yet, the most important victory was internal. I had survived their disdain, their favoritism, their neglect, and emerged not broken but stronger. The world now knew my story, and I had finally claimed my place in it. For those watching this story, remember, the next one will be even more intense. If you want to see more revelations, more suspense, more hidden truths exposed, comment below. Tell me what type of story you want next. I promise it will grip you from start to finish. Like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned. The truth always finds a way. And the story is never over. Point 1.